So may I request the program chair to give me permission to commence the program?
Yes, we have requested you to go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for finding time and attending today's webinar on student satisfaction and quality of higher education, organized by Institutional Quality Assurance Cell, East West University, Bangladesh. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all presented here. I'm Dr. Farhana Firdausi, Associate Professor and Chair, Department of Business Administration, East West University. It is a matter of immense pleasure and great honor that today Dr. Deepamoni MP, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Education, the People's Republic of Bangladesh, is present in this great occasion as the chief guest. She has a great personality and also served as the Foreign Minister of Bangladesh from 2009 to 2013. She studied at Johns Hopkins University School of Public Health and at the University of London. Our program has also been graced by an eminent educationist, Professor Dr. Qazi Shahidullah, Chairman, University Grants Commission, Bangladesh. He also served as the Vice Chancellor of National University of Bangladesh from 2009 to 2013. He has an illustrious teaching and research career as well. We also have Professor Dr. Mohammad Farashuddin, Chief Advisor and Founder Vice Chancellor, East West University. Dr. Farashuddin is a Bangladeshi economist who served as the 7th Governor of Bangladesh Bank, the Central Bank of Bangladesh. He was also the Director of Bangladesh Civil Service Commission. Professor Dr. M.M. Shahidul Hassan, Vice Chancellor, East West University, Bangladesh. He was a former professor of the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Bangladesh University of Engineering and Technology. He has a great research career in the field of semiconductor devices. And finally, we have Professor Dr. Muhammad Ziaul Haq Mamun, Vice Chancellor, East West University, Bangladesh. He is the former professor and director of Institution of Business Administration, University of Dhaka. And he is a renowned academician and researcher in his discipline. Distinguished guests and respected participants, interest in student satisfaction is well established within higher education. A key fundamental driver for measuring student satisfaction is the change in the nature of higher education institutions. In this inaugural session of International Symposium webinar on student satisfaction and quality of higher education, we are eagerly waiting to hear from today's guests. Now, I'm requesting Professor Dr. Muhammad Ziaul Haq Mamun for the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Farhana. Chief guest of the webinar, Student Satisfaction and Quality of Higher Education, Dr. Deepamoni MP, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Education, the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Special guest, Professor Dr. Qazi Shahidullah, Chairman, University Grants Commission of Bangladesh. Program Chair, Professor Dr. Mohammad Farashuddin, Chief Advisor, Founder, Vice Chancellor, and Founder Member, Board of Trustees, East West University. Special guest, Professor Dr. M.M. Shahidul Hassan, Vice Chancellor, East West University. Keynote speakers, Dr. Eric, Dr. Chan, Professor Odhikari, Deans of Faculties, Chairpersons of the departments, faculty members, respected academicians, dignitaries, section heads, officers, and staff. A very good afternoon. I'm Professor Dr. Muhammad Ziaul Haq Mamun, Pro-Vice Chancellor, East West University, would like to thank and welcome you all in this international webinar on student satisfaction and quality of higher education. Honorable Dr. Deepamoni, we understand the challenging time you are passing in this COVID-19 pandemic. Your courageous steps and decisions in this endemic are worthy of praising. Our hats off to you. We are also hit hard, but trying our best to continue our academic endeavors. Your presence today has strengthened us in our venture to achieve quality tertiary education in Bangladesh, which you and your office are incessantly trying. Dr. Deepamoni, You know, East West University is a premier university in Bangladesh. It has achieved your recognition, appreciation, and obligation. Now we are trying to acquire global acknowledgement, and for that, we need MPhil and PhD affiliation. We are more than ready for that. We are crossing our fingers for your support in this regard. Dr. Deepu Moni, you have cherished the university with your presence by giving us your precious time in this international webinar. Our heartfelt thanks to you for your constant support and time for East West University. Respected Professor Dr. Shahidullah, no word can express you and your support for East West University. We have already received due appreciation in the country and trying to achieve global recognition. Have trust on us. We are sure you will allow us soon to offer MPhil and PhD degrees for further admiration of East West University at home and abroad and in international academia. We cannot be a complete university without that. We gratefully acknowledge your presence today. Welcome to the webinar. Our institutional quality assurance cell, IQAC, continuously organizing workshops and seminars to improve quality education, not only at East West University, but throughout the academic sector. I thank Professor Dr. Vasanta Kumar Burman, Director IQAC, for his continuous endeavor in this respect. Welcome, sir. Dr. Rizwanul Haq, Head of the Technical Team, Chief Technical Officer, Mr. Manjuri Khuda, and his team have worked day and night to make this webinar a big success. I thank and welcome them. East West University, since its inception, promoting quality education, quality research, and academic excellence. This webinar is another effort to organize and disseminate thoughts on student satisfaction and quality of higher education. This inaugural session will be followed by 6 technical sessions. We have 2 renowned keynote speakers in our technical sessions. Professor Dr. Chui Wing Hong Eric of City University of Hong Kong. He will talk on nurturing young minds with holistic university education. And we have Dr. Cecilia K.Y. Chan of University of Hong Kong, who will talk on employability for future strategic approach to contemporary development. Professor Dr. Sanjoy Kumar Adhikari, member Bangladesh Accreditation Council, will speak on quality education and student satisfaction in another session. And finally, research-based group presentation will take place in other 3 sessions. The topics are, number 1, influence of university image in alumni's expectation and satisfaction. Second one, student expectation and experiences in higher education. And third one, service quality dimensions and student satisfaction in higher education in Bangladesh. We welcome you all to attend, share your views in all the technical sessions. Thank you very much for your valuable presence.
Thank you very much, sir, for your speech. Thank you. Thank you, those enlightened words. Now, my pleasure to welcome our special guest, Professor M.M. Shahidul Hassan, Vice Chancellor, East West University, Bangladesh, for his speech.
Good afternoon to all of you. It's a great pleasure for me to be here at this inaugural ceremony of a day-long webinar symposium. We are living in a time when COVID-19 pandemic has had and continues to have devastating effects on individuals and communities. I doubt there is anyone moving us who has not felt a sense of loss during the pandemic. Some of you may have even lost family or friends to COVID-19. If so, my heart goes out to you. COVID-19 has resulted in schools, colleges, and university to shut down all across the world, changing education dramatically, causing a shift from classroom teaching to teaching on digital platforms. It is an undeniable fact that students and teachers perceive many challenges during online learning, such as lack of face-to-face interaction, lack of socialization, distraction by social media, technology-related issues, etc. Can any innovative method be included to overcome the obstacles of online learning? The symposium will perhaps address these issues and how student satisfaction can be enhanced and the quality of higher education maintained during pandemic and even after the pandemic. We can thank Director Institutional Quality Assurance Cells of East West University for organizing symposium on timely issues. Honorable Minister of Education, the Principal Republic of Bangladesh, Dr. Deepu Moni MP is here to grace this inaugural ceremony as the chief guest. We are honored by your presence at this event. Your presence is an important acknowledgement and recognition of the initiative of East West University in hosting this webinar symposium on student satisfaction and the quality of education. Two distinguished personalities, special guest, Professor Qazi Shohidullah, Chairman, University Grants Commission of Bangladesh, and Program Chair, Professor Dr. Muhammad Farasuddin, Chief Advisor and Founder Vice Chancellor of East West are also present with us. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend this ceremony. Respected members of Board of Trustees of East West University, invited keynote speakers for technical session, Professor Eric, the City University of Hong Kong, and Dr. Chan, the University of Hong Kong, distinguished paper presenter, Dr. Odhikari, member, Bangladesh Accreditation Council, East West University teachers who will present 3 group research papers, session chairs, reporters, invited guests from home and abroad, Vice Chancellor Professor Ziaul Haq Mamun, Treasurer Mr. Shafiqul Alam, Professor Basanto, Director IQAC, faculty members, officers and staff, government officials, educationists, policymakers, and media people. I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Professor Eric and Dr. Chan for agreeing to present their research papers from Hong Kong. Their participation has definitely given us a different dimension to this symposium. As the socio-economic condition of a country changes over time, so do higher education. In recent years, the government and UGC have taken initiative in changing the higher education landscape in Bangladesh. UGC has recommended universities to adopt outcome-based education and revise their curricula based on the UGC PPR OB template. Government has established Bangladesh Accreditation Council. East West has always stood for the education system that is suitable for students. Several academic departments have already revised their curricula, changed assignment methods, and others are working on it. Board of Trustees is keen to see the changes and to promote student growth. Traditionally, universities in Bangladesh have not paid much attention to students, and as a result, the student satisfaction level is low. Many of the students remain indifferent about the degree and its self-ability. They simply see the degree as a means to an end. We want to change that. Research findings show that service quality is a vital factor that determines the level of student satisfaction. Specifically, their result reveals that the better the service quality provided by a university, the higher the level of student satisfaction. Responsiveness, assurance, and empathy are the three dimensions of service quality that are strongly related to the level of student satisfaction. We want to work towards ensuring student satisfaction for effective teaching and learning. This symposium will provide us with an opportunity here to hear talks of distinguished professors and researchers from on teaching, learning, assessment, and ensuring student satisfaction in higher education. I wish the symposium a great success and hope to learn a lot from it. Thanks for your patience in listening. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable speech and your support to the symposium. Now, I would like to request our special guest, Professor Dr. Taji Shahidullah, Chairman, University Grants Commission, Bangladesh. Sir.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The respected program chair of the inaugural ceremony of today's symposium, Dr. Muhammad Farashuddin, the Honorable Chief Guest, the Minister of Education, Dr. Deepu Moni MP, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Shahidul Hasan, the Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Muhammad Ziaul Haq Mamoon, the Director of IQAC, distinguished keynote speakers from Hong Kong, paper presenters, faculty members, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all who are attending this webinar symposium. Honestly, I have accepted the invitation to attend this symposium because I found the theme focusing on student satisfaction as being very interesting, commendable, and timely. During our growing up time, students had very little role in choosing subjects to pursue. What would they study and what careers that would come. Often it was the families, particularly parents, uncles, and elders, who would guide students into pursuing areas which they thought had better prospects, even if the student had little interest in the area. Personal satisfaction did not matter much, and this was applicable more so in the case of the female students who had very little choice in subjects choosing. But today's scenario is different. Today the student is more independent, and I think today's students basically they have more liberty in deciding what they wish to study, and so the issue of student satisfaction is very important today. So in today's context, I think this needs to be looked at very seriously. We are now observing many changes in the higher education sector. The 21st century is witnessing very quick changes in the higher education sector. And we all know that the purpose of a university has begun to change from an elitist philosophy to an egalitarian one. The field of education has changed a lot in our country too. And more changes will no doubt come in the future. New technologies have started to emerge now, technologies which are impacting the work environment as well. The education sector, therefore, needs to change and adapt as well. The challenge ahead for our university administrators is to transform our education curriculum, programs, and skill development infrastructure in order to deliver the talents needed for an innovative, digitized economy. The ability of our country to grow and prosper depends critically on the ability of the universities to adjust with the changes in society and economic development. University administrators will have to be ever alert to the needs of the fast-changing global economic scenario and must be ready to make necessary curriculum changes and adjustments to ensure that their graduates remain relevant to the demands of the market. I hope the university administrators will give due importance to this very important issue of student satisfaction and that student voices are heard. I know that I've already heard about the technical sessions. I'm sure that the sessions will be very much engrossing. Students will not, everybody will no doubt have something to say. And I hope that the overall outcome will be very positive for the development of quality education in the higher education sector. Actually, I strongly feel this is an area that where we have traditionally not given much attention. We rarely hear what students want. We continuously impose on them perhaps things which they may not find worthwhile. So it is time to listen to our students. So I thank you all for, once again, I thank the authorities of East West for inviting me to participate in this seminar. And I no doubt wish for the great success of this seminar, both not only in the presentations, but in the practical developments to follow. I would like to see positive outcomes coming from the seminar. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your thought-provoking speech and kind words. Thank you so much. Dear participants and viewers, we understand you all are eagerly waiting to hear from the chief guest of this webinar. It is my honor to welcome Dr. Deepu Moni MP, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Education, the People's Republic of Bangladesh, to deliver a speech as a chief guest.
Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon. Respected Program Chair, Professor Dr. Mohammad Farashuddin, special guest, Professor Dr. Qazi Shahidullah, Chairman of University Grants Commission, Professor Abdul Mannan, former Chairman of the UGC, Vice Chancellor of East West University, Professor Shahidul Hassan, Director of IQAC, distinguished speakers, faculty members, staff, invited guests, media persons, and I hope that there are students also who are also a part of this program. I'm delighted to be here at the inaugural ceremony of a day-long symposium, Student Satisfaction and Quality of Higher Education. I thank East West University for organizing an international symposium on this very important topic and in a very timely manner. This year, we are celebrating the 100th birth anniversary of our father of the nation, the greatest Bengali of all times, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and also the 50th anniversary of our independence. On this occasion, I would like to pay my deepest respects to our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and the 3 million martyrs of our war of independence, and hundreds of thousands of women who were violated by the Pakistani occupation army and their local collaborators. And I would also like to recall the sacrifices made by all throughout the history of our struggles in establishing the rights of our people, those who made the supreme sacrifices. I pay my deepest respects to them as well. My special thanks to the keynote speakers, Professor Dr. Chui Wing Hong Eric, the City University of Hong Kong, and Dr. Cecilia K.Y. Chan, the University of Hong Kong. They are very well-known educationists and widely recognized for their research work. The academics and administrators present here will, I'm sure, greatly benefit from their informative presentations and discussions. I've been informed that Professor Dr. Sanjay Kumar Odhikari, member Bangladesh Accreditation Council, will give a presentation preceded by 3 group presentations of East-West University teachers. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, wants to see the country as a developed country by 2041. She has given us this vision, 2041. For this, a huge, skilled, educated youth class has to be created. Universities must take on the responsibility to produce graduates with employability skills. It is an undeniable fact that there are some universities that are failing to provide quality education. Students are dissatisfied with university services. Universities, I'm sure, need to take effective action in this regard. Dear ladies and gentlemen, Bangladesh is a success story. We are a country with great potential and great possibilities. Under the dynamic leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, our government is on track to achieve the status of a developed country by 2041. Our educational plan, we're graduating from a least developed country to a developing country. Our educational plan, which is based on improving the quality of education, highlights the importance of instilling a sense of citizenship in students who will contribute to the realization of a knowledge society and take part in sustainable development programs, and will be able to turn their education life into a real preparatory stage for the future. The father of the nation dreamed of a Shunar Bangla, a golden Bengal. One of the objectives in his strategic plan was to provide quality education through a new education system and involve teachers and educators in delivering the best education possible in their respective institutions. Following this goal, immediately after independence, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman formed Kudroti Khuda Education Commission in 1972. Muhammad Kudroti Khuda, a renowned academic and scientist, led the commission. In the education sector, we are committed to provide access to quality education for all Bangladesh youth and children in an equitable manner. Our government has made many changes in the education system. There were only 6 universities in Bangladesh at the time of independence in 1971, all in the public sector. At present, there are 46 public universities and 107 private universities. Now, total enrollment at public and private universities, including the Open University and the national universities, has surpassed 4 million. We have achieved remarkable progress in bringing children to school. The gross secondary school enrollment rate for Bangladesh has achieved remarkable progress. The gross enrollment rate for boys and girls increased significantly. The dropout rate at the primary and the junior secondary has also declined. Much development has been achieved in the ICT sector, and it is evidenced by the fact that we have very successfully moved from in-person classes to online classes very rapidly during this pandemic, with the development of ICT. We cannot embark on our journey towards a developing country and then to a developed country without the help of academic institutions and academics. I urge the East-West University and indeed all tertiary institutions in the country to take the call to both applied and fundamental research seriously and also find innovative and effective ways of linking up with the industry, the corporate world, and academics in universities abroad to engage in quality strategic research targeted at finding practical solutions to real-life problems in our society, and thereby actualize research findings to develop our society. When we talk about quality education, we must understand the aspect of quality, or the concept of quality in its total entirety. Quality education does not only mean that the university is able to provide a good degree, it has a good educational environment, it has good teachers, quality teachers, very qualified teachers. That is only one side of quality from the service delivery point. But what about the service receiver's point of view? There must be satisfaction there. And there must be this feeling that, yes, I am receiving, I'm happy, I'm satisfied, I'm receiving what I'm supposed to receive. And what I'm receiving, I'm happy with it. So quality does not only mean sound technology. It doesn't only mean that the person who's delivering the service has high quality or high achievements or high qualifications, but the receivers must also have that satisfaction that they're receiving what they wanted to receive, why they have entered this institution. So I think today's topic about student satisfaction, that is why, is so important. We are talking about now outcome-based education. We are talking about industry academia coordination. We now talk about lifelong education. So that is why we also talk about modular education, because with the fast pace of change, especially which we envisage with the fourth industrial revolution coming up, things are changing at such a fast pace that whatever our students are learning today may become redundant or may become not so usable in 3, 4, 5 years' time. So what will our graduates do? Will they have time enough to come back to the campus again and do a whole degree, another degree in another relevant subject for that time, relevant for that time? And with the, as I said, with the fast pace of change, how can we keep up with the change, with the requirements of that change? So that is why universities abroad, everywhere, they are adopting modular education, so that whoever needs to reskill themselves, whoever needs to upskill themselves, they can come back to the campus, or through online education, or through blended education, using both types. They can upgrade their skills, and they can just take short courses, diplomas, they can do certificate courses, and keep upgrading their skills. We have to, in our universities also, we have to think along those lines. And we have already established quality assurance cells. We now have the Accreditation Council. So we're hoping that they will look at all the aspects, all these aspects of quality. Our service receivers, our students, there are so many aspects to this quality. How they're treated by their teachers, how what is the quality of their the syllabus that they cover, what is the environment where they study, the technology that they use, whether they have access, equitable access to it or not, all these students. There are so many dimensions to it. And whether they need whether they get the support that they need at any point of time. So I believe that this symposium will shed a lot of light on all these aspects and much more. And through this symposium, we will come up with strategies to improve student satisfaction, so that when they, after finishing their degrees, after getting their certificates, when they're embarking on their new life, their work life, they know that they're ready to be employed, and they have the skills, the required skills, the 21st century skills, not just the skills that we always talk about, but also the soft skills. And they are employable. They know what they want to do. If they want to be entrepreneurs, that they're also ready to do that. So we have to assist them. We have to be by them, so that when they come out of these institutions, they're ready for building their own futures, and through that, building the future of our country. And wherever they are now, it's a global world. It's a globalized world. It's now wherever our students go, they're global citizens, and they can contribute to their own countries even by staying abroad. So we don't have to always think about them being in our own country and contributing here, but wherever they are from, whichever place they feel like working in, they can contribute to the development of our motherland. So with this, I wish to conclude my statement, and I wish this symposium a great success. And I would very much look forward to receiving the papers that are presented in this symposium. I would like very much to go through them and learn from the experts, and from abroad, and from the East West University. I wish this symposium a grand success. I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to be present here. And thank you all. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, may Bangladesh live forever. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Dr. Deepu Mani MP, for your valuable and delightful deliberation. Your presence is a great motivation. Thank you. Now, I would like to request the program chair, Professor Dr. Muhammad Sirajuddin, Chief Advisor and Founder, Vice Chancellor, East West University, to say a few words for us. Sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Farhana. Salams, adab to everybody present. To the chief guest, Dr. Deepu Mani, MP, who is also one of the most successful foreign ministers of Bangladesh, chairman of the University Grants Commission, Professor Shahidullah, learned Vice Chancellor of East West University, Professor M.M. Shahidul Hasan, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Ziaul Haq Mamun, former Chairman of University Grants Commission, Professor Abdul Mannan, Director of IBA, Professor Farhad Anwar, the learned keynote speakers, Professor Herik and Professor K.Y. Chen, and Professor Sanjay Adhikari of Accreditation Council, Dr. Bashant Kumar Barman, the master of the ceremony from behind, the main organizer, respected faculty members, others participants, and 291 in attendance, of which 150 or so are students. Good afternoon. When I started my tertiary education 61 years ago today, in 1960 at the University of Dhaka, as Professor Shahidullah said, those were the days where the parents and guardians never cared about what the students, what their children or words would like to choose. I also say that in the university, the thing was to listen, assimilate, and reproduce in the exam. So no question of any choice. Since then, we have come a long way. I tell you why I also introduced Dr. Deepu Mani as a successful foreign minister. I attended a international conference of our party 4 years ago, and there were 17 foreign delegates. Each one spoke in the conference, and after due recognition of Bangladesh, its creator, and the dynamic, able leader in Sheikh Hasina, each one of them invariably remembered how effectively Dr. Deepu Mani has been representing Bangladesh in achieving a bright image for itself. So I think we have come a long way to brighten the image, thanks to Dr. Deepu Mani and others in charge. I'd also like to remember the father of the nation, centenary celebrations now, and Subarna Jayanti of the birth of Bangladesh. His demand, he sacrificed his life. He sort of did not care about his life because he wanted an independence and an economic emancipation of the people to build up a Sonar Bangla, the Golden Bengal. His demand was, in order to create Sonar Bangla out of the rebels, out of the destruction, we need golden people. He used to say, Sonar Bangla gorte Sonar Manush chai. সেই লক্ষ্যে তিনি কদরতলা কমিশনের কথা মাননীয় মন্ত্রী উল্লেখ করেছেন, সেখান থেকে শুরু করে শিক্ষা ক্ষেত্রে সর্বোচ্চ অগ্রাধিকার দিয়ে দেশের মানুষকে সোনার মানুষ হিসাবে, সম্পদ হিসাবে গড়ে তোলার সর্বাত্মক চেষ্টা করেছিলেন। আমরা ইস্ট ওয়েস্ট ইউনিভার্সিটিতে চলে আসবো। আমরা শুরু থেকে 1996 সনে যখন একটি গণতান্ত্রিক সরকারে, when a democratic government was in place and there were golden air all around in Bangladesh, we started our classes in October 1996. It's a coincidence, but I'm very proud of that. We are very proud of that at East West University. One of the first things that we did was to take concrete steps so that any operating surplus of the university will be redeployed for building up the physical infrastructure and strengthening the social infrastructure of East West University. On that basis, a resolution was passed by the Board of Trustees in the year 2000. It was forwarded to the then Board of Revenue, and on the 25th day of January 2000, the NBR said, we recognize the good efforts of East West University, and because they are contributing to the building of human resources, they are exempted from paying of taxes on their operating surplus interest. I think I can claim very humbly but firmly that this was the only university which was given this honor and recognition. Unfortunately, however, a year after that, when another government came, the government of 2001 and its finance minister, late Mr. Saifur Rahman, he cancelled them. And we extended the cancel formally. But since then, and as always, we shall endeavor to continue to be a non-profit organization and to redeploy all operating surpluses for the development of the university, its physical infrastructure, and more importantly, on its social and human infrastructure. I would also like to mention that from the word go of the university, we have been trying to inspire our students, all students actually, that while it is important to seek jobs, it is more important to prepare all our graduates, at least some of our graduates, for self-employment by creating their own enterprises so that they can employ other graduates. In that respect, we have recently established an entrepreneurship development center, and we will soon knock at the door of our very respected chair of the University Grants Commission, who has a soft corner for us, and indeed for all the other private universities, to get a go-ahead for the Entrepreneurship Development Center so that we can get started and create at least 100 entrepreneurs who will be supported with seed capital and all this. I would also like to here refer to the various rankings, home and abroad. One of the most talked about ranking now, Mr. Minister and Mr. Chairman, is the Quacquarelli-Symonds, popularly known as QS rankings. It has 6 elements in the matrix. If any university would like to get a position in the world ranking, it must go through them very carefully and act accordingly. And we are trying to do this at East West University. We have some disadvantage. The one disadvantage is that we don't care about the 5 requirements we fulfill, and we will try to do even better. But one of them, getting a better foreign faculty student foreign faculty ratio. We are not so sure we need it or we will be doing well, because at East West University, which is known for its total transparency in all activities, including recruitment of faculty members, we try to get the very best amongst ourselves of Bangladesh. And we think they compete very significantly, very equally with any one of their type from abroad. We have all respect for those who are from abroad. But in order to do this, one of the things that we need, and Professor Ziaul Haq Mamun has mentioned it, we need the NOD kind permission of the authorities to get started with MPhil and PhD program if there are objective criteria, and if East West University and 4, 5, 6 other universities do fulfill these criteria, then I think the pursuit of MPhil and PhD programs at all those who are equipped to do this will go a long way in inspiring the students and the guardians and working harder for the Sonar Bangla. The achievements of Bangladesh so far under the able leadership of the eldest child, Janabandhu Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister, is now not confined its reputation within Bangladesh. The world at large, the most important institutions in the world are recognizing the achievements of Bangladesh and are actually saluting its leader, Sheikh Hasina. We would like to strengthen it even more with our humble efforts, and permission to start PhD programs will be a very bold step in that respect. Before making it too long, I would like to once again thank the director of the IQAC of East West University. I would like to thank the Accreditation Council. They have already done a tremendous job by formulating the national framework of standards. This is the first big step forward. Next, we have to, within that framework, create a self-assessment effort in each of the universities so that we can present ourselves objectively to the society and to the Ministry of Education. One of the early things that East West University had done in order to enhance the qualities was to create a feedback loop. The students of East West University, from the word go, they have an opportunity to evaluate their faculty members, to evaluate the facilities at East West University. From the feedback loop, we have been endeavoring all the time to improve upon not only our teaching, making the teaching more up-to-date and consistent with the technology, and responding to the demands of the students and their guardians. We will no doubt endeavor to continue to do so. Before I conclude, I would once again remind the audience that the Minister of Education and the Chair of the Grants Commission have given us the task of giving them the feedback of the important deliberations of this, the proceedings of this event. We would keep this in mind. We'll share the papers with the Honorable Minister, as also the proceedings of the day long. I have seen from the program that the activities will go on until at least 9:30 p.m. Hats off to you, the organizers, and the participants, including the international ones. I would once again say thanks to the distinguished presence here, and it will be my duty, my pleasure, to say Joy Bangla and Joy Bangabandhu, but I would like to, this is a formality, request the chief guest of this afternoon, Honorable Dr. Deepu Muni, MP, the Minister of Education, to formally declare this webinar open. Dr. Deepu Muni, please.
Thank you, Dr. Farashuddin, for being very, very kind to me always. I now formally declare this webinar, this symposium open. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, Dr. Dipumoni MP, and thank you, Professor Dr. Farashuddin, for your informative speech as well. Thank you so much. And dear guests and participants, we are at the end of our inaugural session. Thanks to all. My special thanks to Dr. Dipumoni MP, Professor Dr. Kaji Shahidullah, Professor Dr. Muhammad Farashuddin, Professor Dr. Shahid Al Hassan, and Professor Dr. Muhammad Ziaul Haq Mamoon for gracing this occasion with your valuable time. And your presence is a clear indication of your sincere desire to enhance the quality of higher education. Thank you, everyone.